And this slide is entitled Delayed Gratification. What does the expression pay now or pay later, but pay we must mean to you in your life? What this means is that, we have to pay a lot of stuff, right? Housing, utilities, rent, food, transportation, medical care, education, tons of things. So education. So we can either pay now or we can pay later, meaning that you can get an education now that you're young, or pay later, okay? Or you can work hard and smart now that you're young, or you can pay later, okay? So that's kind of the way it goes. You probably want to use your youth to get as much education as you can and to make as much money as you can so you don't have to pay later, okay? As I mentioned before, I have a small real estate practice, and we buy houses and we move into them. We buy houses below market price, and we move into them and we remodel them. And when we sell them, we make money. Okay, so I kind of have to work in the construction industry to do this kind of business. And so I've worked with quite a few construction workers, some of whom have been in their 60s, 60 something, and they're still working construction, and they're lugging around cement and bags and cement blocks, bricks and lumber and rebar and you name it. Okay, so they apparently not do a very good job of planning the future, because that's not something you want to be doing in your old age. When you're young, might be okay, but in your old age, that's probably not the best job to have. Okay, so the next sentence reads or asks, is it possible to delay gratification, and can that help you to obtain better results over the long term of your life? Okay, let me highlight this part here. Okay, let me save real quick. I'll save as. Not sure how to do this. Got the hang of this. Okay, desktop. And today is the 21st. Okay, let's see. Okay, so what we mean by delayed gratification is that when you're young, you probably don't want to buy that $5,000 Rolex watch. Okay, you want to save your money and invest it wisely so that it grows, right? So that you can have a wonderful retirement. You don't want to buy that $10,000 woman's handbag. Okay, you want to save your money, invest it, and grow it, so that you can be a millionaire in your older years. You don't want to buy a luxury car that's $50,000, $70,000 or so. You want to maybe buy just a regular car, save your money, invest it, so it grows, so that when you're older, you can have a wonderful retirement, right? So that's what that means, right? You don't want to buy things you don't need. Okay, if you don't need it, don't buy it, right? Invest the money, save the money, invest it, and then allow it to grow, so that when you're older, you can have a wonderful life, right? Whatever that means to you. Okay, maybe wonderful vacations, living in a very nice place, nice street, nice neighborhood, driving a nice car, going to Cancun, going to Europe, right? Going to Dubai, whatever, right? Like that. That's probably okay. Now, if you come from a rich family like Donald Trump, this does not apply. Okay, if you're Kennedy or Rockefeller, it's a different story. Okay, but I'm talking to regular people, normal people, like most of us, right? I'm talking to let's say 2/3 of people are regular people and 1/15 are below regular people. So I'm talking to the 85% of us who are between average and all the way to below average. Okay, I'm not talking to the upper 1% or the upper 10%. I'm not talking to those people. Those, they're in a different category. They can do whatever they want, you know. If you're a billionaire like Jeff Bezos, I think Jeff Bezos is around 200 billion. If you're up to $200 billion, doesn't matter, and you're young, does it matter if you buy a 200,000 Lamborghini? I don't think so. What I'm talking about is the regular people, okay, the vast majority of us. You want to delay gratification so you can save, invest, and grow your net worth so that in your later years you can have a wonderful life. Let me give you some examples. I live in a pretty nice part of Orange County, fortunately. Okay, I didn't start here, okay? We started in a one-bedroom apartment in Uptown Whittier. And I think we were paying $125 a month many years ago. And it was not very attractive. It wasn't, we didn't have a swimming pool. We did have a metal gate. That's it, okay? We had a carport. Anyway, so, but now living in a better area, better situation, sometimes I'll go to Starbucks and I drive a regular car. Well, I drive a nice car now, but I used to drive a regular car. I go to Starbucks and sometimes these gentlemen pull up with next to me in a Lamborghini and like, what? Right? And and when they get out of their Lamborghini, you realize that these are older guys. Okay, they're not young, they're older men. Okay, and apparently they during the course of their lives, they built up their financial reserves or their net worth sufficiently large enough to be able to afford a $200,000 car. Or I go to Costco and some guy pulls up next to me in a Ferrari. This is real, for real, okay? It happens to me quite often. And they're different people. They're different, but they're usually older men in their 60s, maybe 70s, like that, okay? So at that point, it's okay. Once you're an older person, and if you have the resources, then you can splurge. You can do what you want with your money. But when you're young, you want to delay gratification as much as you can to save and invest for your future. The other thing I probably should mention is that you probably do not want to become a teenage parent, right? You want to probably delay the children as long as possible within reason. Okay. Now, to be honest, for men, this is easier, right? Because the delay gratification is easier for men, especially with regard to children, because men can have children during most of their lifetime, in their 20s, their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, even 70s. For example, Mick Jagger of the Rolling Stones. The Rolling Stones is a very famous rock band, and Mick Jagger is the star of the Rolling Stones. But he's a good guy because he didn't dump them. He could have dumped the band, but he never did. His band members, he never did. Mick Jagger had a child at age 70. And I assume it's his child. Okay, he says it's child. Okay, so I assume it really is his child. So men have the ability to have children for a long time, but that's not the case with women. Women probably need to have a child in their 20s or 30s. Before 20s is not recommendable for health reasons and for the health of the child. And after 40, it's also not recommendable for health reasons also, but for the child and the mother. So women have a shorter time frame within which they can have a child. So it's a little bit hard for women. So in my view, and this is just my own personal view, I think if you're a woman, you probably, your best bet is probably to have your first child in your late 20s. So you have enough time to get an education, to get a good education, to get a job, to start your career and save up some money, right? So say between 18 and 28, roughly, right? Get an education, good education, job, money, savings, like that. And then maybe a second child after 30, right? So like that's probably 2 are enough. Okay, it's up to you. If you have 10, be my guest. Okay, but that's not for me. I'm not for 10. If you want to do 10 or 20, that's your business. But I don't think that's a good idea. Okay, 2 is okay. Okay, and that's the female case. But I don't think it's recommendable to become a teenage parent, like 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. that's probably not a good idea, because you don't have enough education, you may not have a job, you probably don't have any money, and so forth. Okay, so you want to delay these things as much as you can within reason, to save and invest for your future. Okay, next slide.